Hey everybody, you thought we were done, didn't you? Well, guess what? You're wrong. We gotta do the frickin' tea party. So you've made it this far. Did you enjoy your stay at Rokujima? Well, aside from Maria freaking out, it was okay. Kinda murderous. The Golden Witch and grant you an invitation to her tea party. We hope you have chose to attend. Indeed I shall, because hey, it's a tea party. We're gonna drink some tea. Wait, aren't the characters all dead? Purgatory? Is that Purgatory or something? Probably is. Elegant music for Purgatory. Hey everyone, good job finishing Umineko no Nakukura ni. And also, we gotta read about how everyone else died, because, yeah, they died somehow. Yeah, wait, the end credits said they died. So, let's start with Jessica. Missing, even though she was given a precious invitation to the Golden Land. A single fool refused to believe in the witch, and all the magic disappeared. So she was chewed to bits by demons and went to hell. Missing. Okay then. Missing, even though everyone was finally getting along so well after being reunited in the Golden Land. All of the magic came to nothing because of a certain hard-headed fool. Afterward, the demon chewed him to the bone and he went to hell. Finally, Battler. This fool made the world where everyone could be happy all come to nothing. Though Beatrice is extremely angry, she shouldn't be enjoying herself immensely. It's almost as though she waited 1,000 years to get her hands on a toy as fun as this one. Hopefully, even this fool will be able to see you before too long. Man, I still don't have a clue what was going on when the story ended. So, what just happened? Was that basically the bad ending where time runs out because the culprit could be exposed for the culprit?
Ooh, definitely a bad end. Ooh!
That's right. Beatrice's letter was for me to jump around the first day. Tell us in advance it's all rid of the epitaph. Or be trying to protect herself and look for the culprit that we didn't take a shot at it.
That's right. If we had actually tried to solve the riddle, I'm sure they would have ended differently.
I wonder about that. Shanjon, you did a good job too. You don't have to be our waitress and serve tea. After all, this is a rap party. As a group of people who made a horrible fate, let's all get along and lick each other's wounds. Lick, lick, lick. Speaking of a terrible fate, Shannon beats the rest of us hands down, doesn't she? She's such a beautiful character, so I thought she'd definitely survive to the very end. But she was killed right in the beginning. On top of that, what was it? Half her face was smashed, right? That's like totally uncool.
That was my role, there was no way around it.
Nissan, it's nothing for you to worry about. Judging by the last epilogue, even Milady and the rest of them met an extremely tragic end.
Seems so. I think I remember seeing this horrible picture, kind of like my entire body being eaten apart and dismembered.
Speaking of which, don't you think Cannon's last moment were the coolest? Even though he had the table turned on him, it showdown with the culprit, right? It was a whole bunch better than our confusing last moments, right? Though in the end, I was unable to get a solid hit in.
Still, I think that Cannon-kun's stuff was a big hint. After all, because of that, the existence of the 19th person was made clear.
That's right. At the time, everyone's location was obvious, so it's impossible for anyone other than the 19th person to kill Cannon.
Ooh, Marissa beat her from the beginning over and over. Ew!
I don't want to believe, but that does prove the culprit of the witch calling herself Beatrice.
That's right. There were many strange things that happened which a human couldn't do. Ooh, only a witch could do things like murder an evil boss out in that closed room. A human couldn't do it. Ooh!
Not only is the existence of a 19th person clear, but it is also obvious that this person holds a power that humans can't even imagine. In that case, I don't think there's anything wrong with calling this person Beatrice.
You probably at the very end met with the Golden Witch.
Like Maria kept saying, Beatrice exist. It all went bad because no one ever believed. Ooh! Even one of her witch friends said that miracles will occur if you don't believe. Ooh! That's right. Beecher-sama generous to those who respect her.
I think that, despite the fact that horrible cases kept occurring one after another, Maria-sama was able to avoid Beecher-sama's menace until the end. Maria believed Beatrice from the very beginning. Right, but if that's the case, I feel like Kaneki and the rest were all killed. They believed Beatrice just as much, right? Beecher-sama probably had her reasons. What the frick is with Shannon's bones?
If the song of the epitaph represented Beecher-sama's resurrection ceremony, many sacrifices were needed. He must simply have been designated to be one of those.
Shannon, you meant a horrible end. At the very least, I wish her death could have been more peaceful and pretty.
Well, gee. Anyway, right now I'm perfectly fine, so don't worry.
After seeing him stroke Shannon's cheek, which had been crushed during his story, everyone laughed out loud, smiling. She died.
Well, it feels a bit weird saying this, but I'm sure his story would be in standard mystery genre. We'll surprise find out that it's fantasy. After all, Western managed to sit away on the isolated island, the world revolving around some inheritance. It's not just like a mystery novel to me.
Ooh, it's not fantasy. Beecher exists. Ooh.
Yes, we understand. Beecher-sama does exist.
That's right. Beecher-sama does exist.
I hate to admit it, I've got no choice because I was that 19-person the witch was involved.
Many things happen that would be impossible for humans. During the story, I found of all kinds of things trying to deny that. Now I can say it clearly. Each of one of them, all of them, were crimes possible for a human. These crimes would be impossible to carry out unless it was a witch Beatrice using all of her power and magic could provide.
The culprit was a witch. That point is perfectly clear. Long live Beatrice. Like, totally. LOL.
Ooh, everyone believed. Maria's happy. Ooh. Gods and witches might seem terrifying to people who are frightened of them. But I think that may be affectionate to people who believe and respect them.
I think you're right. So this murder case is finally over. Now the time to put itself together and try hard to solve riddle the episodes like Beatrice said, right?
Ooh, I agree. Beatrice will definitely be happy.
Everyone ignored that letter during the story.
Even though it was thrust right in front of him, the almost completely ignored it. I kind of feel sorry for Beatrice-sama. I have a memo with the episode on it. Let's all solve it.
The story probably went wrong ever since that time.
That may be so. Maybe we should have tried solving the episode right from the beginning like Beatrice said.
Well, it's a little too late now. Even so, let's try solving it now and see if the witches forgives us. Let's go. Let's try to solve the riddle of the epitaph. There's something like my beloved hometown, sea fish running through it. No, this is a happy ending. This is a good ending. How come Batward's not talking? He's like, Maria put her notebook on the table and opened to a page where the episode was written. While everyone stared at it, they got really into it as they started guessing this and that about the riddle. Surrounded by the smell of black tea and freshly baked vanilla cookies, they spent the time comfortably and happily. Wait a second, you guys. Bauer spoke in a way that cut through the conversation. His expression was a little unhappy. What could you not like about all this fun? I've been listening to you guys for a while. Why'd y'all stop singing? Why are you sure the witch was behind all this? Don't you realize something like that can't exist? With those words, the atmosphere surrounding the tea party evaporated in an instant. God damn it, Battler. Just go with it, dude. I mean, you're already in purgatory, whatever. George and Jessica, and Shannon and Cannon, and Maria. All of them stared blankly, wondering what in the world Battler was talking about. Even the foolish, arrogant Battler they hadn't chosen to, well...
But because it isn't clear the kind were possible for a human?
That's a fright. None of those cases would have been possible for a human.
That's true. After all, wasn't it full of things that human couldn't explain?
I don't understand what you're saying, Battler-sama.
I'm the one who doesn't have a clue what you guys are talking about. Isn't it obvious that human commit these crimes? There's no way a witch exists, right?
Then, what about how when I was killed in the storehouse and something horrible was done to half of my face? If the corpse was a human, how could they accomplish it?
Well, it's hard to imagine how they actually did something that awful. But that was a rogue on a storehouse, right? I'm sure there are plenty of weird tools in there. Let's say they use some electrical tools like a grinder or an electric saw.
That's...
Then Battler, how do you explain Grandfather disappearing from the closed room of his study? Even though the door was sealed, Grandfather unexpectedly disappeared, right? We talked about that during the story too. It's not impossible that Grandfather used some trick to fool the receipt. It's also probable he went out of the window, fell down, and Nasucho bossed unlocked the window from the inside. I could think of a bunch of tricks you could use about relying on magic, you see? That makes sense, but you're like the atheist at a church. Everyone's happy, like, wait a minute, guys.
In that case, Battler Raccoon, how do you explain why my parents were going to the guest house? The door was sealed by the lock and the chain. Naturally, the window was sealed too. How did you suggest a human could have killed my parents?
Well, we did have to leave that trick alone during the story. Anyway, there's always a good chance the culprit had the key. It's possible to look through the crack of the door and that chain allowed. It's really painful to talk about, but it's possible that some device was used for that crack. Maybe they stuck something through the crack. Well, even though the chain is incredibly simple, it's a big factor in setting up the closed room. However, there are probably some closed room trick they could have used. If you bought some closed room mystery novel from the bookstore, you could probably find some trick that would fit perfectly. Anyway, I can't think of one now. I claim that there's nothing humans can't do if they try hard enough.
Isn't that argument horribly irrational? It's ridiculous to claim that it's possible for a human to do something, even though you can't explain how.
Why is that ridiculous? Why don't you stop thinking? Even something that looks impossible to be doable, doesn't it always look like that? Battle, you're the one being ridiculous. If you think a human could have done it, try explaining how. You can't, can you? And you're okay with saying the culprit is a witch because I can't explain it? With that argument, all the other crime in the world could be resolved by saying a witch is the culprit.
Battler, you're sidestepping the issue and you aren't explaining anything. We're saying a human can't do it, therefore the culprit is something that isn't human, and that's something that's a witch. And yet you keep arbitrarily saying that witches aren't even possible even though you can't explain anything. Hee. It's almost like humanity was during the Dark Ages, like those fools who claimed that heaven spun around the earth. Those who said the earth couldn't be spinning even though they couldn't explain why.
That kind of argument kind of pisses me off. So this is basically what we're trying to say. If I can't explain how a human could do it, I must accept the culprit of the witch? It's not like we're forcing you. We're just wondering on what basis you could say such nonsense. Nonsense? Hey, have I really been saying something that weird just now? Am I the only one who's crazy? You guys are starting to really freak me out. Battler-sama, when I died in the boiler room, I was killed by a 19 person who shouldn't exist. Can you explain how a human could have done that? At the time, the locations of the 18 were well known. Even so, I was killed. Talk about that in the story as well, right? Kumasama-chan, for example, said she followed right after you and headed to the boiler room, but we couldn't be sure whether that was a lie. For all we know, she might have entered the boiler room with you and caught you by surprise. Or maybe when you stepped into the boiler room, you activated some kind of trap, one that might have been set to hit you with one of those ice picks. After all, I was thinking the incinerated body was coming to the incinerator. That's because someone had been there before. If they set up a trap, it's certainly possible that the culprit could stay away from the place using time can't secure death to create an alibi.
You talk about a trap in the boiler room. What kind of trap could it be?
That's right. Following his death, everyone immediately ran over to the boiler room. We don't have anywhere to device, did we?
That is correct. Battler-san, what kind of trap could I have been killed with? Well, I don't know that. But anyway, they must have skillfully used some kind of trap. Maybe someone is lying. Or maybe someone is... Or what about this? Kaneki, what if the whole thing was just you play acting? That's it, you were play acting! Evil boss and heroes Jitsu were also play acting. They made the closed room themselves and they're planning to be dead. Battler? Had your head been, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with them on this. Like, Battler... Come on, dude. I mean, I kind of see him. He doesn't want his family be like, oh, a witch killed his family. He wants to know what the culprit is, but yeah, that last theory was horrible. How do you pretend to be dead?
Did I bring you some cold drinks?
Don't let me with all those pity nods. I'm not saying something that crazy, right? Let's point out that it would be possible if you could think of some kind of trick, right? Look. Isn't one of the fallbacks of mystery stories that the victims aren't already dead?
Fallback?
In other words, when Kaneki was killed, we really didn't know for sure that the rest of us were. Let's assume that Kumasama wasn't lying. It only held true for the survivors. What if the culprit pretend to be dead, place themselves together along with the real victim to hide themselves, act on their own later? Everything would be explained. Huh? So you're trying to say that evil boss on one of the rest of them was the culprit? Didn't Dr. Nando say confirm everyone's death with the doctor? That's right. Dr. Nando checked all the cult victims. Battler-sama, for your theory to work, wouldn't Dr. Nando have been one of the culprits too? Yeah, that's right. Once you consider Dr. Nando might be one of the culprits and fake the proclamation of death, the whole story changes. See, that's also fun mystery novels, isn't it?
But Dr. Nando was killed, right?
About that. That's right, a fake death. After all, there weren't enough Dr. Nando who examined corpses properly. Everyone is really confused then anyways. We didn't have any spare time to check and see if he still had a pulse. With this theory, anyone's dead bodies could have been walking around.
I think that would have been hard to stick about too tight in the beginning to do that. After all, the shutter was closed and there was a padlock that couldn't be opened from the inside.
That's right, Mom was holding on to that key. So is Mom one of the culprits too? Wait a second. Maybe it's impossible to first 6. Because if Anakin's parent door was only locked on the outside, we could have opened it from the inside. That's right, after you left the room, maybe they jumped out the window against the boiler room first. Is that too much? Or maybe Dr. Nando made a mistake when naming the corpses? Well, look, he said himself, right? He said that he's a very high possibility of making a mistake when examining corpses. If you guys are well enough prepared to substitute body, you could fake your own death. Let's leave the method of that trick they used for later, and you see, it's not that hard to deny 90% existed, right? Much less a witch, right? At least that much is currently impossible.
I don't know what you're trying so stubbornly to say that one of us is the culprit. In other words, you want to suspect one of your relatives?
That's not it. It's just, I can't easily accept that a 90% existed. And even if one did, I think we should concentrate our argument from the point that the culprit wasn't human. Only accept that if a witch in desperation at the very end, after everyone else has been disproved. There's no witch that exists, right? Why did the Roman Catholics tell the culprit was a witch? I think it's great how your family loves make you hate the thought that someone else close to you the murderer. But is that right to let you fool you? Don't you want to find out the despicable culprit killed so many people? Anarchy, don't you avenge your parents? Jessica, don't you want to avenge Kanekun? And Kanekun, don't you avenge Shan-chan? Shan-chan, she always want to know who was that killed you. Why is everyone totally surrender side the culprit of the witch? What's wrong with all you? The foolish short-term backward tried to force their ignorance on the others and yelled at them. However, everyone just looked at him pitifully, silently watching over him. At that, the wise Maria laughed and pointed out Backward's mistake. Who's narrating this? Because this must be like a very biased person.
I'm shocked. All I see is repeating this nonsense saying you figure something out, Battler. Then, what's next? How would a human do it? Vertically? Oh man, you'll say, I just can't think of it now. Without a value. Why want to know, Battler, is this? Why don't you believe in Beatrice? She exists, so why don't you believe?
Because she doesn't exist. Witches don't exist. There's no way. It was almost like a spoiled child who don't want to accept something. The feeling gazes quickly closed around Bauer, but it didn't reach his stubborn heart. Aren't you acting like an unmanageable spoiled child?
Battler-sama, I understand your feelings well, but...
Beatrice does exist.
Battler-chun, why don't you believe, even though there's so much proof?
I don't accept the argument that the witches must have been behind everything just because I can't explain it. Does this mean that if you don't know about a light bulb shines and magic is the cause? That's wrong, isn't it? No reason can be explained without magic. Yeah, okay. All of it's about witches and magic, just the obligation of thought. You surrendered and gave up because you don't understand what happened. Isn't that right?
Well, unsurprisingly, it looks like you won't believe no matter what, Bat. If even a single person won't believe, the miracle won't occur. So if you don't rethink your ignorant theory, the magic won't be completed.
Now I see. I finally figured it out. So in other words, you guys want to force me to say that the witch exists, right? If everyone accepts, the lie will become the truth. Is that all this about? I'm so sorry. I keep going on, but what you're doing is all useless. I refuse. You guys are all pressing me. That's why it's all useless.
Why?
Sorry. Why don't you let me turn the chest over one more time? If you really want me to force yourself as a witch, there's only a really easy way. It's not the indirect way of saying humans can't do it, it must be a witch. All I have to do is show me how a witch did it with magic. Furthermore, what Maria said earlier is what really dug her, what will really dig her grave. She said one person that exists, a miracle won't occur. But real miracles happen whether people believe it or them or not. Even I alone don't believe. So any miracles or magic or witches that exist only because I believe in magic are downright lies.
Oh, he makes a point.
The unsaid mood followed Battler's ignorant rant. It was blown away by the very soft and light laugh. Whose laugh? Battler was surprised. He'd never heard that voice before. With the George, Jessica, Shannon, and Cannon, and Maria, he noted that they surprisingly, suddenly had gone respectfully quiet. Wait, what's going on? Wow! What the? Oh my God, she exists! Oh my God. Oh my gosh. It's Beatrice. I'm so sorry, I didn't believe you.
Beatrice!
Wonderful! I have been able to meet a charming human for quite some time. Who are you? Don't you even know the host of the tea party you were invited to? Oh, people these days, simply wonderful. Ha ha ha. This is the golden witch who lived for 1,000 years, Beatrice Sama. We have finally, after the whole LP, we finally met Beatrice, and I love using that voice too. Oh my God. Beatrice, the golden witch who has lived for 1,000 years. She has breath the limits of humans and will, just a demon do, appears in response to human summons to win them power for a price. She likes black tea and ice cream. She hates boredom and people who deny her existence.
I'm honored to see you, Beatrice-sama.
Please forget Balrog's ranting.
This guy just stubborn and he still doesn't understand what the situation he's in. Haha! How very wonderful! After 1,000 years, my would you get tired of living? How nice is it to meet a man with a background such as yourself every once in a while?
It is quite an honor to present when Beatrice show herself, Battler.
How astonishing! Aren't you really that determined to believe that a witch, that 90% is the culprit? This is starting to get interesting, and it's all useless. It would be the illusion that they claimed the witch Beatrice. So, if everyone believes in you, you will finally be able to exist. You have that kind of half-existence, right? That's what I want me to believe too. You can't exist because I alone don't believe in you. Isn't that right? Your power of insanity isn't bad for a mediocre person who has not seen no magic. I see. It seems that you were born with strong magic-resisting power. The natural enemy of us witches. No matter how much we turn your words upon down, you never believe in us. Therefore, the magic won't succeed. I accept that attitude of yours. I've got no clue what you're saying. It's very kind of... Are you opening out a breast bottle? It's very kind of you to get all the trouble showing yourself to us. I don't believe you exist in the slightest. It's true that many strange things happened during those 2 days. Like Myriad said earlier, even though I can't think of all the tricks to be explained, I can't lay out the practical details of each one. However, that doesn't mean that I'll surrender. I'm different from the rest of them, you see. I'll never argue that I wasn't the work of a magic just because I can't explain it. This is getting more interesting. Making surrender will be worth my time. You're the kind of man I like to force into praising my name. I'd love to try and make it a man like you kiss my toes. If you want to take nonsense, talk all you want. I know you exist. All the events can be explained with human tricks. There's no room for even the speck of magic or witches. Wonderful! This is the perfect form of divider from 1,000 years of boredom. Then let me ask you. A short while ago, you said that using a Kraken door would be similar to kill Eva and Hiroshi, right? Explain how they could have killed you using some magic human trick. Suddenly jumping right into the toughest part, are you? Doesn't that mean it's just a trick you're proudest of? Miss Real Culprit. Where are we going? Oh wait, follow me! Shaking for golden pipe. Seven covers a chisel of smoke trailed out of the end. Smoke quickly obscured the surroundings, and they were suddenly in a hallway of the mansion. Be on control! The door was in front of them, slightly open but secured by a chain was. That's right, the door to the room where Eva and Hiroshi had been killed. Nice trick. Well, Jace. Alright. So, show me what you've done for a small crack battler. They probably shouldn't have to shoot those ice picks. If they had used that, how will they reach Evo with a bell when you can't see that far through the sky? And how will they reach heroes in a bathroom with the door shut? Damn. There's a crack. There should be some way. Ha ha ha. If you're going to think of one, allow me. Oh? How will a witch do it? Come on, let's see your little trick.
Battler, you're being rude to Beatrice.
How nice, how nice. What a charming man. Now I'm gonna give him more fun to force him in submission. You really want me to get your toes that much? Only if I surrender. But watch, I'll definitely pull the trick and they'll make you kiss my ass instead. Oh, what a delightful man. I'll remember that promise.